Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. I greet you all. Um, some of you may be familiar with who I am. I'm hoping most of you aren't, because then you can get to know me better, which is exciting. Someone once said that everything new is exciting. So if I'm new to you, that's good news, because then at least maybe for a little bit, I can be exciting. For those of you who do know me, what up, though? Um, I've decided to get back into YouTubing because there is so much misinformation out there, um, and a very heavy misrepresentation of the security industry. Um, People are funny. A lot of you are funny, but I don't. I Let me give you context. So I used to do a podcast called Big on Security, and I did that in partnership with Get Licensed. I want to shout out Get Licensed 100 times. They are fantastic. Their management team, their owner, the guys. We had such a great time. And I recently was directed to clips of the podcast. If you search Big on Security on YouTube, you'll find it. But some of the clips have been chopped up for their TikTok, which is really good social media strategy. And I've seen some really crazy comments in there. So it's made me come back to be like, there is a space for talking about um, security, and how it affects us all. And a lot of you actually don't understand how some things work, or the other side of that is your experiences have tainted your view of how things should work. Um, and that might be based on either your behavior or the behavior of whichever security personnel you were um, engaged with at the time. So, once again, I'd like to shout out Get Licensed. They're doing fantastic work. The starting point for all of this is operatives in the United Kingdom, which is where I'm based. I'm based in the United Kingdom. Um, must All operatives in this country must have an SIA license. The SIA is the Security Industry Authority, and their Department of the Home Office. You must have that. It is a crime not to be licensed and to be providing services in the UK. Now, I know some of you have seen the clip where I talk about being an international bodyguard, and I like the part where someone made a comment and said, "What does the international have to do with being a bodyguard?" I want you to know, not all bodyguards can travel. Not all bodyguards are invited overseas by other clients or are taken out of the country by other clients. There are some bodyguards that are just national bodyguards. I would have thought that was obvious, but I cannot be so um I cannot be so full of myself to assume that everyone knows. So I won't be presumptuous and think that everyone understands that there are some bodyguards that cannot travel. For whatever reason, that doesn't mean they're of a lower quality than I am, um, but their life circumstance means that they can't travel. I can, and I've traveled to most parts of the world. I have no travel restrictions on me anywhere in the world, and therefore I go to multiple places with loads of clients. Um, some of you are interested in what type of clients I've had or I currently have. Um, I decided from yesterday to start calling myself Starboy Henchy. Why? Because I am the current bodyguard for Big Wiz, the number one Starboy, Machala, Italawa. We are outside, biggest bird. You know what time that is. I've looked after some of your favorites, ranging from Naomi Campbell to Little Uzi Vert, um, Lewis Hamilton, Thames, Dave, Stormzy, um, Kate Moss, Suki Waterhouse. Um, who else about this? Always happens to me. Prince, rest his soul. That was a big one. Um, Migos, Jason Derulo for all the TikTok lovers. Um, I always forget. Loads of names. Loads of names. The more I remember, the more I'll tell you. Um, Especially as I go through loads of the stories. Anyway, I've looked after loads of people. Um, I like the fact that some of you comment, based on my appearance, I don't look like your former special forces ex-military type. Let me debunk some stuff for you. Not everybody that was in the military was a fighter. Not all of them were on the front line. The idea that just being in the military makes somebody a better bodyguard than another person is a lie, especially with celebrity bodyguarding. Um, Majority of my career has been celebrities. Um, I will definitely 100% say anybody who has a military background or a law enforcement background, in theory, should do well in more hostile environments. A lot of people's ideas about being a bodyguard come based off of what they've seen in movies, which are largely affected by the Americas and the rest of the world. In the United Kingdom, we have a gun culture, but it is not a general culture. So it is illegal here to carry firearms. And even our law enforcement, a very special team, operates with firearms. So to look at someone and think, oh, you don't look like you have any gun experience, first of all, is a stupid thing because the people that carry guns don't look like they have any gun experience. But two, being in the military does not necessarily best qualify you for certain aspects of CP. I have a lot of respect for the military guys. Um, their biggest, for those that develop the right habits, the biggest thing is their discipline and their attention to detail. Um, but loads of people went through the military phase and it had an adverse effect on them. They come out the I don't even like the word PTSD. I just call it, I have a friend, uh Sean, Sean Sean Gallagher, really good friend of mine, has had an incredible career. He's excellent at what he does. Um and I like his version. It's a trauma response. Um it's not a disorder, it's a response. Unfortunately, that response um, might not be most appropriate when you're with a celebrity client. If you hear a a glass fall on the floor, you cannot start shouting, contact, contact, cover, cover, or start trying to smash someone in the face. It doesn't work that way. Um, so yeah, just get rid of the idea that bodyguards have a look. There are some jobs that I don't fit in. They want somebody that is extremely unassuming, isn't particularly tall, isn't particularly short, and will be easily forgettable. There are some jobs where they want someone that looks way taller than me, way more muscular, because they want the deterrent factor, the obvious, that is a brick wall look. There are some jobs that want a balance. Um, there are some jobs where actually it doesn't really matter what you look like. What do you offer in terms of language skills? Because we might be going to the other side of the world, and I don't necessarily want to have a translator with me all the time. just because of some of the things I'm going to say that I don't want the people we're dealing with to always have knowledge about. So many different things come into play when you're thinking about the bodyguard. The bodyguard. My background is law. I have a law degree. Um, uh, I was doing criminal law for a little while. It is important to know this if you're going to go into the security industry. Know your stuff, learn the rules, know the boundaries, know what you're allowed to do and how you're allowed to do it. It will save your life. It will save you a lot of hassle. When you figure all that out, then you know where to cut off your ego. It doesn't matter how you make me feel. If you are 10 feet away from me shouting abuse, you're 10 feet away from me, that abuse makes no difference to me. If you are 1 feet, if you're 1 foot away from me and your fists are clenched, I will begin to consider my options of taking you down. Now, anyone who's in the industry will understand why. Um, so it's really important to know what to look out for. Learn your stuff. You don't stop learning. This isn't an industry where you stop learning just because the laws change, the rules change. Social factors are different depending on where you go. I'm from a lovely part of London called Tottenham, and prior to that, I wasn't born in this country. Prior to that, I'm from a lovely part of Nigeria called Lagos. Um, I will not act how I act in Tottenham in Lagos. Um, and just for your information, Lagos is more dangerous than Tottenham. Um, there are variables to that, but that's the general gist. Um, so social factors play a part in how you can present yourself. Um, People have this idea that a security personnel must be one way. No, it is a very adaptive role. It is a very adaptive role. So as a person, you have to keep learning, not just the law, learning about people, learning about environments. You have to learn about finance. You have to learn things of general knowledge. Make a really big difference if you are away with a client in a country whose religious beliefs are not your own. You better know what you can and you can't say. If you go to parts of the US, um, where, for instance, you might be with a client that visits a place where gang activity is very high, and there are colors that you cannot wear in a specific neighborhood, you better not wear those colors. You will be a liability to your client. So, um, in future videos, I'll get into so many different things. I want to encourage you all to ask me as many questions as you want. I want you all to um, ask questions. Ask questions. Give me your views. Ask questions. Tell me your experiences. If I read a comment about an experience that I think is key, I'll touch on it, or I'll share my experience that's similar, or things I've heard, and or what we, if it's something we just need to discuss as an industry, then we'll go into it. So I'm looking forward to what will come of it. Every so often, I'll sprinkle in a little bit of everything else. Do you know why? Because security is connected to everything. I don't care who you are and what you do. Security is connected to everything as importantly as whether it's your celebrity or your politician, all the way down to your family, your children, your car, your watch, mate, your mobile phone. Phones are getting snatched off people in the street. Um, so there's no version of our lifestyle currently that security is not concerned with. on the internet. You know what I mean? Um, you cannot escape security, and that's what we're going to address. And I'm going to do my best to be committed to doing this consistently. Um, Obviously, this is the first episode, and I need to figure out what is going to make this episode go viral so that you all come back and slap the subscribe button, slap the notification button, slap your neighbor because they haven't slapped the subscribe button, and I've figured it out. So, as I mentioned before, I'm WizKid's head of security, and I want you to know right now, if you want to know any secrets about WizKid, you will not hear them here. But I will tell you a story. And this story is a testament of the kind of person WizKid is. Now, Big Wiz, we were at a show in Germany, and show's crazy. Festival, it's going off. Big Wiz hits the stage. Boom, it's gone off. Big Wiz does what Big Wiz does. Biggest bird, it's gone off. We finish, make our way back to the vehicle, and I look over at Big Wiz and he's saying something, but I can't hear him. But I know something's wrong, I can see. So I'm like, yo, Big Wiz, what's wrong? He's lost one of his rings. Oh, Wiz, come on. Okay, cool. Um, I'm trying to get someone else to secure Wiz while I go and look for it. Then I'm like, no, that's not my role. My role is Wiz. I'm going to keep securing Wiz and let someone else go and look for it. And I'll tell you why. Because I could, that ring was either 40K or 60K. I can't remember which. 40K or 60K. I don't care who you are. Let's put that in terms of just regular people. If you're a multi-millionaire, you can ignore this part. But for a regular human, the ring was either 40K or 60K. One of the two. Let's pick 40 just so that we just kind of try and reduce the value. A £40,000 ring has slipped off his finger. I'm going to look, listen, let's get that ring back. Do you understand what I'm saying? Let's go get that ring. That's a deposit for a mortgage. If it's 10%, that is a deposit for a £400,000 house. Right? So let's go and get this 40K ring back. Wiz is like, no, I'm tired. Let's go. Big Wiz, just hear me quickly. I can organize. Let me, Big Wiz. That's a young 40K. Even like, I'll trust me. I'll come back with it. Give me 15 minutes. I'll find that ring. Promise you. Because if my 40K might get a little bonus. Yeah, I mean, just get if I could get 10% of the ring's value as a bonus, that's a young 4K. That's a good day. That's a good day. Do you know what Big Wiz said? Big Wiz said, I'm tired. Let's go home. Let someone find it. Let God bless them. It can change their life. I want to say that I'm the Big Wiz. Can I be the one that God blesses and finds it? Because what are we talking about here? Let me be the one. Big Wiz. Big Wiz said, let's go home. It takes a certain level of confidence in yourself and a desire to want to change someone else's life. Let me tell you something. Listen, my I, if I'm dropping £4, no, £4 is crazy still. £40. If my ring is £40, I'm picking up that ring. I've got 2 kids at home. I could swap that money for something else for them. Big Wiz is a legend. And it is a joy, it's an honor to be in his team, to organize his security, um, and there's so much coming. So that's my story about Big Wiz, about his big heart, about his generosity. Um, Wiz Kid FC, you know what to do with that one. Spin that. Okay. Also, for those of you who your idea of a bodyguard is somebody that's extremely well spoken and delivers all forms of communication in the most eloquent manner, there's going to be a little segment for you, but also I'll give you a little bit of the bits and the bobs, like man's from also that side of town. So we have to keep it really well balanced for everybody. All right. Don't be offended. Don't be upset. Stay tuned. There's a little bit for everybody. Um, as I said, I'll touch on things that concern so many different aspects and different people I've worked with. Um, I'd like to really show some love to uh, Get Licensed once again. I'd like to show some love to Yards, to also all my brothers in the. If I start going through the names, we'll be here for so long. My brothers in the security game and sisters, my brothers and sisters in the security game who have really been a part of my journey. Big love to Broken Planet. Big love to Afropop Socks. Um, this is going to be a fun journey. We're going to do lots together. Um, and I want you to know that you shouldn't make security an afterthought. Security should be part of your planning from the very beginning. Don't compromise everything else you're working on because you didn't have the security figured out. I'm going to leave you with that. Till the next time, slap the subscribe, slap the notification, slap your neighbor if they haven't slapped that already. God bless you, Henshi signing out.